Hi everyone,
So,
welcome on board. This is Anisha here. Today I'm in conversation with Kulvinder here, who is an NMAT topper. I mean, trust me, you guys will be amazed to hear his scores. So, welcome on board, Kulvinder.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Great. Tell me first, before everything else, we'll take your introduction. What was your NMAT score?
So, I achieved 280 in ANMAT.
Lovely. And that was your first attempt?
Yes, ma'am.
Brilliant. So all of you guys who were scared ki can I crack NMAT or not, first attempt Kulvinder was able to get 280. So all of you guys can surely get that number. Definitely a 240 plus is what you should aim. Now let's hear it from him. What and how it everything was done to get to that 280. So let's start with Kulvinder with a little bit about your background and where are you from? What did you do before MBA?
So, I'm Parinder. I am a engineering graduate from NSIT Delhi. I currently reside in Delhi as well. So, I have 2 years of working experience as a software developer at an education firm. So that's basically my background. Like 2 year work ex. I prepared for ANMAT and all the exams along with my job. So I didn't take a sabbatical or anything. So yeah, it was a bit difficult, but yeah, I managed.
Lovely. So, how did you go about, like, for example, see, we've got CAT, we've got NMAT, and you have to choose your date. So, when did you select, like, to take, should you take it before or after CAT? What do you recommend?
So I don't think like there is a fixed date that works for everyone. So for me, I chose it way before CAT. So CAT was on 26th of November. I
Yeah.
chose my ANMAT in the, I think the second day, which was I think 11th or 12th of October.
Oh, nice.
So I basically wanted to have enough time for preparation for ANMAT as well as separate time for CAT. So I started preparing for CAT around I guess May or June, and for ANMAT around July. So it gave me around 3 months preparation window for ANMAT. So 3 months I specifically prepared for ANMAT only, and after that I came back to CAT and prepared for CAT for another 2 months.
Lovely. So, when you said 3 months you were preparing for NMAT, what was your 3 months to NMAT strategy?
So first of all, ANMAT is very different than other exams. So first of all, it's an adaptive exam. You can't see the question paper beforehand. You don't even know what the next question would be. Second, it's more of a speed-based exam. You have to solve 108 questions in 2 hours. And third is the level of difficulties. I would say it's a bit on the easier side compared to CAT and ZAT. So first of all, okay, and one more thing, there are some different sections.
Yeah.
For example, we have logical reasoning and grammar-based verbal in ANMAT, which is not there in CAT. So these are some of the sections you have to prepare specifically for ANMAT. So for this, what I did initially when I started preparation was I basically prepared a strength and weakness analysis of what about all the topics from all the three sections. For example, quants is a bit easier side for easier topic for me in general. So I chose to devote less time for quants,
Okay.
whereas I struggle a bit for on the verbal side. So I devoted more time on the verbal for the grammar questions. And since verbal, you have to solve here like 36 questions in 28 minutes, I guess only.
Yeah.
So you have to focus on speed as well as on accuracy. So I tried to like increase my vocab, learn more synonym, antonyms, everything, and then I like switched to the logical reasoning section because it's like a complete section on its own. So yeah, that was my preparation strategy. Apart from that, I started taking mocks. So like initially in the July month when I was just started getting started with the syllabus for LR and verbal, I was taking roughly a mock a week,
Okay.
but I increased the frequency in the next month. So for in July, I was taking two mocks a week, and then in September, I was taking one mock every 2 or 3 days,
Oh,
2 days
nice.
basically. Yeah. So basically, one day I was taking the mock. Next day, I was analyzing the questions of where did I go, what I could have done to improve my speed, what meta trick I could have used to solve the question.
Lovely. That's pretty interesting. So you've given a good number of mock tests, which is there. What would you suggest? For all the students who are preparing, everybody does a CAT and an NMAT simultaneously. So what's the difference? Like you mentioned, the grammar based, the logical reasoning. So how do you study these particular subjects, and what do you suggest in terms of how many mocks giving is an ideal number?
again, I don't think like there is an ideal number for like it would depend obviously on everybody's preparation, but I think like everybody should take at least 10 to 12 mocks
Okay.
before that includes the official GMAC mocks as well as the other mocks that you can run. For the section-wise preparation, I would suggest for the logical first starting with the language skill section. So language skill section, as in the other exam, here is also RC heavy. So you usually get 3 to 4 RC sets, and for me, I have experience with the official mock as well as the exam. The RCs are usually placed in the end of the section. So if you spend too much time in the initial questions, you won't get too much time for the RCs. So you
Yeah.
have to maintain your speed and reading speed as well, because the RCs are not on the very shorter side. You have to maintain your speed as well as your summarizing speed as well. So for language skills, I would recommend is to start reading, keep increasing your reading habit, and then start summarizing in your mind,
Okay.
summarizing it on a paper, and then maybe like try doing it faster. Like obviously, if you can
Yeah.
read and summarize it, you have to do it in faster for NMAT. For CAT, maybe you can take a more relaxed approach since the RCs are more language based and language complicated. But NMAT, I have seen the RCs are very simplified in general.
Correct.
So I think like you can take a more faster approach in reading, skimming, or other techniques that you can use. Other than that, for language, I would suggest just to focus on grammar part as well. For example, we have the error detection, grammar usage, fill in the blanks, closed test question.
Yeah.
So these make up quite a huge portion of the language part in MAT. So I would suggest is to keep working on these as well. So for these, I would recommend using the official NMAT guide by GMAC. That is an excellent resource available for NMAT, and I think it covers all the syllabus, all the topics. For logical, again, I think like there is no fixed syllabus for logical. They can you can have any type of question, but I think but from what I have seen from the past year papers as well and from the books as well, like there are some fixed type of questions that usually do come in every set or in every attempt you make. For example, we have a sequential output questions. They are usually there in almost all of the sets. So for those question, practice as many questions as you can find. Again, you can use the official guide, and for you also have the LR section in the logical reasoning. So I would suggest is to don't get fixated or don't get stuck on a lengthy LR set, because again you can't see the question paper that is ahead. So if you get stuck on a longer LR, you devote too much time on that one, and you miss on a easier LR because time constraint. That would be a huge loss of concept, I think. Other than that, there are Venn diagram based questions, and those are usually the trickier one for many students. So for those, I would suggest is to focus on the specific words like all, some, none. These are the words that generally that can usually change the complete meaning of the question. So focusing on those would really help.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. And we also had this, different type of question, which is like input output, which is very
Yeah.
specific to NMAT, and you get a lot of questions of critical reasoning. So how did you deal with them?
So for critical reasoning, I think like critical reasoning is more or less common to all the management exams right now, I guess. So for this, you have I think ample resources for, but again, for NMAT specific, the official guide is a really wonderful resource. For input output, I think first doing the past year papers or as many past year sets you can find is a would be a really good way to go through. Because like in the input output question they do try to like incorporate new techniques, and you have to like spot them in a very small time, because this is again a set based question.
Yeah.
There are usually 3 to 4 questions based on an input output set. So if you miss on a trick, so you are using if you miss on the trick, you are losing 4 questions straight. So it is really important to practice past years questions. Like for example, they usually for the numerical sets they usually use squaring, cubing, or similar tricks. For if they are having an alphabetical set or a word based set, they used switching it to numbers and similar. So you have to know these tricks to so that the question can instantly hit you while in the exam.
Okay, that's lovely. That's great. Now, one last thing, if I were to ask you, like you've mentioned about all the things that they should do in the 3 months of preparation on the day of exam, what was your selection of the sections? We have the liberty to choose that ourselves. So, what was your strategy and how did that work well for you?
So my strategy was to go in the section of language, then logical, and then quants. So I chose this because again I was preparing for CAT before NMAT.
Yeah.
So this was the strategy that I was sort of familiar with because in CAT we have this strategy only verbal, then DI, and then quant. So I chose to go forward with this only. And the second thing was that language is something like I said that is something for me that requires a bit of concentration. So I thought like doing it on the initial stage would really help me. Like if I get most of the questions correct, I would be happy and it would be easier mentally for me to go forward with the other sections. So I chose language first and then logical and then quants because quants is basically I can do with a relaxed mind. Like even if I had messed up in the previous sections a bit, if I realize that I can still make up with the quants. So I choose quants for the best.
Okay, lovely. That's pretty interesting. What was your overall like sectional cutoffs? Do you remember sectional scores out of each of these sections?
I don't remember exactly, but I think they were on like 85, 87, and 95. I think some similar.
And which was the section you scored the most?
I think it was quants.
Okay.
I don't again like I don't remember the numbers exactly, but I
Lovely.
think it was quants.
No worries. Any parting thoughts for everybody with respect to how to go about with, this entire NMAT preparation journey?
So the only thing that I would recommend is to take ample amount of notes because taking as many notes as possible would give you with a diverse set of questions that you can face in the exam. So if there are no such unique questions left for you, you won't be having any surprise questions in the while doing the exam, and you would at least have some sort of basic idea, basic logic on how to tackle a question, and that would obviously help with your speed as well as accuracy.
Lovely. That's really great. So, thank you so much, Kulvinder, for joining in, and all the best to all of you guys who are listening to us. If you guys have any doubts, any questions with respect to your NMAT preparation, syllabus, section wise strategy, drop in the comment section and we will take that up for you guys. Thank you so much. All the best. Take care.